Hey, and welcome. It is tonight, June 26th. And welcome. It is June 26th of 2020, and boy, it has been a crazy, crazy week. And I see people are running late. We've got two people right now. So, just give it just a few more seconds to let the rest of the class and everybody show up. Jason, hello to Knobnoster. So, we got a late shower right now. As I said, it has been a very, very interesting week. Of course, everything with the whole, I don't know, the craziness with NASCAR stuff going on and all this stuff. Now, here is the one thing that has been insane everywhere, pulling down these statues and that stuff from here to there. And of course, is one thing when the Confederate one's being pulled down, but then you start getting these ones. It's like, why was that one pulled down? There's no real reason for that. Then it's just like, what needs to be done is the penguin up in Penguin Park needs to be protected. So we need to protect that monument right there and make sure nobody pulls the penguin down at Penguin Park, because it seems like they're just pulling down anything they can get their hands on. I don't know. But now with hello, Daniel. How you doing? Now, here's the thing is, we've got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, 2020 right now so far has been like the craziest of all biblical, damnations and that stuff that could come true. I mean, hell, if the earth was to split and the demons come out, it would not be a surprise right now. Now, but here's the one weird thing with 2020. Every single thing that's gone weird has all been breathing. It's all been about breathing. You had the whole COVID started up. Breathing issues. And then things went apeshit insane with George Floyd, the whole I can't breathe. There's two. Things come in threes. The third one is coming this weekend, the Saharan dust storms. Now, if you haven't heard about that, because not everybody's talking about it, because it's one of those, well, it's a normal type thing, and it's yes, it is normal that the dust storms happen, but usually what usually happens is these dust storms and that stuff, they turn around and, well, they pretty much rain dissolves them, that kind of stuff, and it keeps it from coming across. Now, this is where it gets crazy. They are such a thick cloud. I mean, if you looked at like the pictures that they were showing, of course they always put it in brown, and you're like, huh, a shitstorm's a coming, and because that's what it looks like, and it's like that's basically what it is. Because here's the deal: is anybody with breathing issues and that kind of stuff is going to affect big time. Oh, we might have a caller here. Let's see what happens.
Hi, T-Bone.
Yes.
Hi, T-Bone. This is Glenda. How are you?
Good. How are you, Glenda?
I would be much better with your T-Bone and me.
Well, that sounds like it could be fun.
You want me to describe it?
Knock yourself out.
Okay. Well, once you get through the bush, I'm sorry I haven't trimmed, but once you get through the bush, it's soft, melted lips. Kind of reminds you of a little bit of a slice of a roast beef sandwich.
Who's thinking Arby's?
Yeah, and not quite Arby's, honey. I'm thinking more of a McAllister's Deli.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Does it sound interesting to you?
Well, deli meats are always good.
Yeah, that's all you can eat, baby.
Well, are you watching right now, or are you just calling?
Nah, dude, I'm about to hop on. I had to fuck with you.
Ah, you son of a bitch. Why'd you have to get rid of the voice?
I'm sorry.
You were making things interesting. Things were like, what the fuck?
Dude, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
You
hey, do me a favor tonight, though.
Do what now?
Do me a favor tonight, though.
Oh, what's that?
You gotta sing "Push It" by Static X. I'll never forget the time I heard you do that on the radio, and I was so fucking stoked about it.
We'll see if we can get that, because right now we are talking the big conspiracy theory of the third biblical thing happening this year. But thanks for calling.
All right, bud. Take care.
All right, see you. Oh, that took a crazy, interesting turn. Okay, now going back to the big Saharan dust storm that's coming in. Now, as I said before, this time it's bigger than what's ever been. It's massive. I mean, it's an impressive, crazy storm that's coming through. Now, they say that the reason this time it's coming through more than whatever has before is because of the fact that there's been a small tilt in the axis, the Earth, and so it's like you have warmer temperatures and that stuff going through the Mediterranean areas and all. I mean, it's all science. But anyway, here's where it gets bad. Now, there's enough dust that's going to be coming through there that the particles and stuff with the iron and some of the other things that's in there. I mean, it's going to get into the Gulf of Mexico is what they're talking about. Now, what's going to happen then is you're going to have these crazy, like allergy pools. So starting up. It's going to spur these dangerous, noxious algal blooms. I guess is the scientific name for them. Basically, it's like if you look at like a pond and that kind of stuff, you got all those little green, the stuff growing and that's in there. Well, that's basically exactly what it is. But there could be noxious gases and that stuff that will be emitted from the from there, and it's going to go and it's going to affect what? The breathing. Once again, threes. It comes in threes. Now, you could say that, okay, go along with the tilt in the axis, which, I mean, yes, it has been proven that there has been a tilt in the axis and stuff, but other contributing factors, the whole, the chemtrail conspiracy plays a little bit into this because it's like that has been enough of a pollutant in the atmosphere because of the chemtrails. And with that there, the chemtrail going through the top parts of the atmosphere is helping the dust storm from the Saharan dust storm move across also, because it's knocked out enough of the ozone layer that the sun is a big factor. The sun going through there, it's already diffused some possible hurricanes that were coming through because it's that massive thick of a storm. So now you've got your spike in the COVID, which is horrific. But now we're getting into the whole chemtrail. It's making the Saharan dust storm come all the way across. I mean, you're talking the Sahara, of course, is the biggest desert in the world. And Jay, no, there's some chemtrail. Just watch the back of a plane. There's a little bit that goes through there. There's polluting in there because this is what's helping get this dust storm from the Sahara all the way across the ocean and right into the United States. And it's going to, because seriously, it's already moved through a lot of areas, and the one that it's throwing people off because it's like left the next morning the thick red dust across everything. So, as I say, that's the stuff that's going to get into the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to start that noxious gas in it. That's going to start affecting, people's breathing and health and that. So I say, this is the third biblical thing going on. So what could be happening? It makes you wonder. It's like, okay, is there something in the Bible that is saying that the end of the world is coming? Because if you really look at 2020, of course, the Mayans got it wrong so bad. Their calendar is apparently wrong because they've been saying the end of the world was coming for a long ass time. But if you really think about all the craziness that's been going on, the rioting, the oh, Christopher, don't be a dick. Just don't comment. What was there not to comment? It's proven that the whole Saharan dust storm is coming over because of the tilt and because of and also because of the pollutants in it and stuff. And, mocking, there's not mocking of the Trinity, by the way. There is three. Everything said it comes in threes. So they're not mocking the Trinity, because look at the celebrity deaths. They always happen in sets of threes. Three, of course, then they turn around and, you learned from Schoolhouse Rock, I'm sure, 3 is the magic number. All right, it all goes back to threes. This is now the third thing that's going across the world. And this was saying, it's one of those that we really haven't looked a whole lot into, but we really need to be paying attention and going through. There's one of the other parts in that stuff, because it's all said now. You've got also, yes, there was the spike in COVID, but if you look at a lot of the cities, they're putting in the when you're out and about, it is required to wear a mask. See, they do know that this is worse than what a lot of people are letting on to. So you wear the mask. Hopefully it will help. Okay, it's not going to be just the whole COVID. It's going to be the dust storm coming over too. It's going to affect a lot of people. So now back to the part where the cities, of course, especially Kansas City, Missouri, they just, Mayor Quentin Lucas just did the whole, you have to wear a mask. In the city, you have to wear a mask. And it's everywhere. They're starting to go to, you have to wear the masks. Now, that's going to turn around. We got a lot of people who are going to be pissed off about this, and they're going to go into the whole, it's my right not to wear a mask. But you're forgetting that your right not to wear the mask is also infringing on the weaker and other people's health and well-being. So now we got to think about this. We've already had people mad about it. We've already had the whole lockdowns and all stuff, which could get worse, because if people aren't going to wear the mask, the lockdowns are just going to get worse. There's going to be more and more and more. And now we're going to have more people pissed off. We're going to have, as I said, more statues being torn down for no good reason at all. As I said, at least, with the southern statues, I get why that a lot of those are torn down. But then, when I said, whenever they start getting ones, it's like, okay, Christopher Columbus was kind of a stretch right there, because the whole oppression of the Native Americans, that kind of stuff, is the genocide of them. It's like, well, if you really think about it, if that didn't happen, then you wouldn't have been born here. So his discovering America then, or the tall tale of him discovering America, is what made civilization that we have now. So what does that mean? If he never found it, would have everything that's happening been going on? Would we have a United States? Would we have been instead turn around and have the groups from other areas come and populate what we call North America today? What would it have done to the world? Technology and all that kind of stuff there. Would it have advanced like it has? Well, the technology part, yes, it would have, because even though I know it's one of those that are like, they just released some of the UFO, Pentagon just released that UFO video and that kind of stuff, and it's out there. There is other life. It's more advanced than us. The thing is, they've been here. We have their technology. That's one of the reasons that whole Area 51 is so guarded and kept it. Because we went from having these huge computers, that's no time at all, within years, it seems like, going down to where we have these massive thinking computers inside a phone. Now, that's just one of the things. And looking around by today, the idiocracy out there and the moronics that's going on, there's no way that this is something this is things that we could have come up with on our own. There's no way possible. So what I'm saying yes, there is life out there. Where are they from? I don't know. But yeah, they're more intelligent than we are. And if and let's play a game here. Let's say that if there was people in this world, in the Earth, that were aliens, who would they be? Of course, they'd be trying to help move us along quicker. So Elon Musk must be an alien then, or has some sort of hybrid alien genetics that's making it. Because I mean, look at the stuff that the guy he shot his own car to Mars. Look at all the stuff he's done and that stuff. The thing is, if he with the stuff he's done, it's one of those. He could be a James Bond supervillain, and that I mean, and he would win. He would take over the world because there's nothing that could be done to stop him. So, if you think about it, if there were people that were genetically mutated with alien DNA, things like that, I would say Elon Musk. Now, who else would you think? Well, I would say Bill Gates probably. Once again, because here's Microsoft, the Windows system runs the whole entire world. Until Mac can't, they start getting Mac stuff out there, which is still not quite can run everything like the basic PC, Windows, and that stuff can. The whole entire world runs on a specific system that somebody set up. Right there goes and we'll call into there's something about this. So now we're on two pretty significant public figures who have done a lot. They both charity wise and also technology wise. And that brings in who else would to see what Christopher says. Dennis Rodman. You see this is too easy. I mean, unless he had the special power that he could befriend Kim Jong Un and that, then Rodman would be. But I will say the one thing though, if Kim Jong Un was dead, don't know if he is or not. He could just be in a vegetated state. Let me get this here. I would not mind his sister taking over because, well, then you got the hot dictator Asian chick. I mean, come on. I think right there would sell. Hey, I want to be part of North Korea. I mean, yeah. So that's just what I would think on that. That's what you would wind up having a dictator, female dictator from over there look like. But anyway, so along with this whole entire thing that we started talking about with this year, the three big problems going on all surrounding breathing. And it's also weird how that all of a sudden we didn't have respirators. Factories had to be made to make these respirators. It all just kind of doesn't really make much sense of how. Jason says Stephen Hawkins. I could see that. I would say if so, Stephen was he would have been the original, probably like the Gen 1, the test subject and that kind of stuff. Because I mean, after all, what happens when you have Gen 1 and you have Gen 2? There's always problems, and they try to make improvements on the first. Then the next group comes out. Because I mean, as far as Stephen Hawking was, the body didn't hold up so well. So there's probably where some of the defects were. I'm just saying, possibly, but it makes sense. So you need to have someone to read the comments so you can stay focused, like watching chicken porn. Jimmy Loman. Let me tell you, if you have not seen chicken porn, there's the funniest chicken porn thing. I can't show it because it'd be against the whole YouTube things. But but it was a fun. All I know is it was sent to me. It was 28 seconds long, and I was the first like, what the fuck? Hold on, let's scratch. There we go. I was like, what the fuck? And then it's like, I laughed so hard. I was laughing out loud. That people were looking at me because of course I was watching with the volume down and that kind of stuff. Because chicken porn is something you wouldn't want to watch with the volume up in a crowded building. But people are like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's just like, I don't know. It was craziness. It's one of those things that you can find on like the websites like eFucked, which is one of the funniest websites out there with the most fucked up stuff that you could ever imagine seeing. So, I mean, stay away from the livestock, Jimmy. No, if that's the Jimmy Loman I know, he can't stay away from the livestock. He's a sodomite. Yep. The Loman I know is a sodomite, and that might be him. I don't know. He goes usually by James, but Jimmy, I think, might be his hooker name. I do not know for sure about that. All I know is he's a pretty high-leveled Freemason, which brings back to the whole, if we're talking conspiracies, of course, the Freemasons. What do they have to do with the whole Saharan dust storm that's coming through? Well, you do have Vito's cry. You do have the fact, though, that there are a lot of things that the Freemasons are involved in and stuff. There's a lot of secrecy that goes on. I mean, I'm part of the group, and we have secrets. We have lots of secret stuff that we can't talk about. But then it does make a lot of things in the world make sense, because you can see things a lot differently when you know what it is to be looked for. As far as the dust storm goes, the shift in the polar caps, in the poles, the fact that most part of our ozone has been depleted, the sun coming through, and what's helping the sun, the heat going through, is what's helping move the dust more than ever moved before, across all the way around through the world. It makes you think that part of this is also in an attempt at population control. It very well could be, because I said the weird thing, and it's on the websites that you read, the actual scientific ones, like Scientific American, that kind of stuff. That stuff that's in a dust storm mixes in the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to cause gases, and it's going to be bad. And yes, people will wear masks for dust storms, but not for virus. Well, because most masks are made for particles and that stuff that are dust. So, and plus also, I think a lot of people, they feel more comfortable wearing the mask with the dust because it's something that can be seen. The virus cannot be seen. So, therefore, they're going to go be more apt for that. But, of course, I guess it doesn't matter because, hey, masks are going to have to be worn from now on. It's like, if you think about it, everything's been predetermined. If you watch a bunch of the movies, what has happened? There's been changes in Earth's humidity, the whole global economy, the whole health, and that's especially the movie Robot Jocks. That is the one that seems to be that we're heading towards. Okay, you could say because of stupidity, idiocracy, and some of these other end of the world movies, but if I had to pick one, Robot Jocks. Why? It was, if you've seen it, you'd understand. Pretty much the world has become a dust bowl, i.e., the dust storm, or the Sahara dust storm is coming through and is making us mark. The economies crashed all throughout the world. Sickness, pestilence, everything across there. And there's like the countries turned around and remade their territories. And they defended them. They took over these territories with robots. And also, if you look, we're starting to have working robots, big, like Gundam-sized robots, coming out in Japan, which is kind of the style of what the Robot Jocks ones were. Was one of the things that people love. People love, for some reason, reality competitions. That's why American Idol and all these shows have stayed on, because people want to see a competition. So that's what happened in Robot Jocks. The different territories, they have someone represent them in the robots, and then they would fight the battle for different territories, different states, different like found reserves or stuff like that. And of course, then that's where you had everybody pretty much, unless you were one of the elites, you were at the bottom rung. And that's basically kind of what's happening right now. If you think about the fact that not every job is returned, and then so there's a lot of people that have not been able to work. They're, and even if they have, a lot of people took pay cuts and that stuff, and they're slowly seeing a decline in being able to live, period, because of the fact that those pay cuts, while the pay cuts happened, like me, my help, for instance, my house payment went up because I'm stupid. I got sucked into one of those adjustable arms whenever they were the big thing. Because it's like, oh, this is great. They'll never go away. It's going to be, this is the future. Da, 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 da. Well, I listened and got screwed, and the company I did it through is out of business. So I don't know what so it's like, no, that should have been right there. It's like, son of a bitch, when they went out of business, and then we did it within as soon as the bubble bursted and everything went insane. But so now you got that there. You've got places raising their taxes. I know Wyandotte County, for instance. I mean, we're going to be raising, taxes will be raised here soon. The prices just going up. While the prices are going up, the money you're making is going down. Of course, you're going to start failing. And the problem now, though, that the fact that at least when the whole COVID pandemic thing was started and the country was considered shut down, I know, like Kansas especially, they had the whole thing. Your mortgage companies could not evict, and same way with rent. They couldn't. You couldn't be evicted if you were having problems making payments. They had to work with you because and now though that everything's open again, so trying the president's trying to save the economy. Well, that opened it up for these places to be able to do that. So now we're going to actually, with this next wave coming through, we are going to see a spike in the homeless population. Okay, this is going to be a problem because here they've already said we will not shut the country down a second time. So if you think about that, that's really gonna hurt stuff. Now, because I can tell you through a lot of companies and stuff where they had people take pay cuts and stuff to say, hey, we're just doing this for a few months. We'll bring back the regular pay, and that's on this date here. Well, I can really tell you, like a lot of the stuff that a lot of companies aren't doing that. They're they're saying, hey, we need to keep this going the rest of the year. Are you okay with that? Because, help us out. And, you know, and then they turn around and get new furniture for the office that nobody comes and visits because people aren't allowed into the office. So just the craziness that made no sense whatsoever. But I'm not naming names. But along with that, let's get back to the fact that we're going to have a spike in homeless population. So what is that going to turn around and do? It would be people out looking, which it's going to turn around. It's going to kill the neighborhoods. Okay. Now, along with those neighborhoods being killed, which is the weird part is you're going to have these open houses and that are going to be left open, and they're going to deteriorate because the thing is nobody's going to be able to afford them because the fact nobody's either people are not employed or they don't make enough money to even buy the houses because the house price has gone through the roof just because of everything going on. We're going to see, I think, I wouldn't call it revitalization, but you're going to see, I think, a lot of the crime rate will go up as well. That is true. But I think we're going to see like a lot of these areas that were abandoned almost, repopulated. We're going to see small people will leave to get away from the violence, and I think a lot of people are going to leave the cities. They're going to go back out into the country because they're going to try to see what they can do. There's a lot of small towns that have been abandoned, and it's like there's nothing there. There's houses, there's buildings sitting there, and I see that people are going to start moving out that direction, and it's going to be almost like a reboot without technology. They're going to be going almost off the grid and making a brand new. I mean, it's almost like if you go to like the movie The Stand. Of course, that was the first thing I thought whenever the whole COVID came thing. It's like we didn't know nothing about it. Is people were dying and stuff. It's like Captain Cripps, that's the whole thing. But if you think of when they moved across the country and stuff, and they went to the town, certain community, they started over, and that's what's going to happen. I see that there's going to be a huge drop in populations and stuff across the country as far as the big cities go, which is going to turn around, and it's really going to then throw a lot of stuff off because then what happens with elections, what happens with picking out people, your representatives and stuff. It's going to kind of go away because you got these little areas that turn around, and their voices won't be heard because they're going to be represented because they're off of the grid. And I mean, of course, that's the reason originally why that the election was on Tuesday, was they had set up that way so that people who live far out from out in the country could vote. They could go in town and do all that kind of stuff. But that's going to be gone. So we're going to see them turn around. Like I wouldn't call them gangs, but I would call them. Let's say. I don't like that term either. I was thinking of as like the whole communes, stuff like that. You're going to see those start up, and you're going to see each one making their own laws and taking basically their what they think is right and wrong, gating off the whole area and saying basically this is how we live. Either you're with us or get out. We don't want you. So that's going to turn around, and everybody's talking about there'll be a second civil war and that kind of stuff. You got all these different groups in that's hell. Who knows what most of them stand for? I mean, it's the one thing with like the Klan. What they stand for. So but you got these groups that then now boogaloos. It's like what the one. This is the weirdest name ever. Boogaloos, and your uniform is Hawaiian shirts. I mean, what is it that you're, you know, you hear all these different things, reading in different news stories that they're a far right hate group, that they're this or that, but then they're like, no, we're, and then you hear that, well, they're for the protected Constitution, constitutional rights, and stuff, taking back the country. You know, if George Washington was alive today, he would bitch slap everybody and tell them, take your fucking country back. That's the kind of stuff, rhetoric that you hear. But the truth is, nobody knows. Because there's just too many groups out there. You have too, you know, like during the protests, you had those the Antifa people showing up and taking a, you know, peaceful protest and just screwing the whole thing up and making, you know, just chaos. That's what most of these groups want. So what's going to happen is that they're going communities are going to start fenced off, and they're all going to have same beliefs, and that way they don't have chaos inside their villages. In that, but there's going to be time. It's that now that pretty much that we're be in a world of lawlessness again. We will have. I wouldn't call it a civil war because it's not two sides, but you're going to have major factions warring from different villages because they're going to they need this, they need that, and stability and you know, common sense. You know, humanity is gone. I mean, hell, it's gone right now. You cannot have a civil conversation with people these days. What happens? The first, who's the one that's always right? It's always the person who yells the loudest and keeps going on and on. That always is the one determined to be the winner. Why? I don't know. We've gotten stupid over the years. We've turned around and we let machines do our work for us. Computers doing our thinking. Hell, we don't even have to try to even spell right because our phones, our computers, they spell the words for us. They know what we're trying to say, so we just don't have to try anymore. So, if you take all that stuff into consideration, seeing how that we went from being advanced and we're starting to kind of fall backwards. What's happening? Let's go back to the possible aliens, alien hybrids, the ones who are putting together the computers, the ones that are doing all the stuff, the fantastic stuff that's making everybody, you know, just go in awe of them. They're the ones you could say turn around and made the world dumb. Maybe that's the beginning of the alien invasion. Maybe there is something to the aliens are not making themselves present, except for in hybrids to turn around and to make these miraculous discoveries and to give to us and think that we're advanced, but turning around at the same time, just playing into our heads, making us dumber. So that way, they turn around and the aliens invade, and there's nothing we can do. We submit. Let's see, Jimmy Loma wants to know, did I miss the Masonic conspiracy part? I was helping to plot the overthrow of the small fourth world country, dictatorship, and install democracy. Now, here's the thing is, the democracy is going to be dead, okay? We're already going through that right now. There's just too many voices, too many people yelling too loudly and not talking. It's the death right there. It's almost like George Lucas got it right in Revenge of the Sith. You hear, you know, when the Emperor took over and killed the Republic and made it the Grand Empire and that kind of stuff, everybody was for it because he was the loudest, he was the most seen. Nobody argued against it. And what do all these things have in common? This year, at least. Breathing. Once then our alien overlords turn around and take over, or if they don't, we got an A scenario and B scenario. A scenario, we were made dumb by the aliens and they're taking over. Well, we're going to depend on them to breathe because part of it is the atmosphere is working for them, but not for us. So it's one of those how do you enslave a whole planet? You take away things that make them live. Now, if we don't go that scenario, let's go the B scenario where we turn around and people turn around and leave the city, and then go and hello, Steph Queen. Now, let's say that we don't go the aliens one, we go B, where people leave the city because of the homeless rate going through the roof and people trying to get by, that they go off the grid and start repopulating these abandoned small towns and that stuff, and get off their own communities and go like Farmville. There'll be no democracy then either. It'll be, as I said, each group factions against each other, trying. They want their small group. They want to keep their way of life for them. Now they might not accept, they might not agree with the other side, but they're going to let people that they agree with in their areas, and they're going to have their own law, and that's going to say it's going to the whole forces against each other and that. So, but then again, you could bring aliens into that one too, because maybe instead of taking over and enslaving, maybe stuff like this, taking away, destroying everything that we've known, they're just waiting for us to kill ourselves, just to wipe out our own planet, killing each other, and then turning around and having, once again, back to the breathing with the virus, the riots starting because of the cops keeping the guy from breathing, and now the Saharan dust storm that is coming across and is going to be hitting the United States. And it's in scientific journals that the dust storm, when it gets over, if it gets in the Gulf of Mexico and settles in there, it's going to create a bit just crazy nauseous gas, and it's going to damage lungs. It's going to start hurting people, and said we're going to just slowly stop being able to breathe in that. And that's when the aliens turn around and they watch us all die off. They come in and they get what they want from the Earth. It's kind of like, also, it's like I know I said that part of like, okay, going through the whole deal that robot jocks was kind of the way that the future is looking right now, with the whole world becoming a dust bowl, and splitting off into the factions, and the fact that we have giant robots that are like Gundam style robots being made that the people can actually get into and fight. So you got that avenue. The other avenue you can look at that kind of looks like, what if the movie V, not the remake, okay? I hated the remake. The remake was awful. I'm talking about the original one. Back, Mark Singer is, and that's the, of course, the guy who's Freddy Krueger. I don't believe his goddamn name right now. Robert Englund. The ones that turned around and because remember, the aliens, they were coming. Now they came in. They were basically pillaging the earth. They were taking people as food, and then they were also turning around and stealing the water because their own home planet was destroyed. See, that could be it right there. Maybe there's something with them that these aliens sit there advanced and they're watching over, and they're having to kill each other off, because maybe when it comes down to it, they're smart, but they're not strong. Going back to the first hybrid alien, saying that if there were hybrid aliens that were people who, were pushing us along, technology, Stephen Hawking being the first, he was the first, being the first model that the frailness and that he, it's like out there with the defects. But as said, look at your next wave. Your next generation would be, your would be your Bill Gates, still kind of small, weaker, male, and Elon Musk. Once again, a little bit. He'd be more of a third generation, getting a little bit front, but not quite there yet. So that's when they just let us kill each other off, and they come in and they take what they want, and they leave. It's simple. How else, though, once again, will you explain the three major catastrophes of 2020 that were all around breathing? Albert Einstein, yes, he would fall. Jimmy, yes, Jimmy, he would fall under. He would have been more of the towards the first wave, like a in that 2.0 version, but like a 1.3, whatever, that was a little bit higher than Hawking, a little bit different than Hawking, because that there. But there was a lot of there are certain people who would not have been hybriding that stuff, like the others. Because most of their stuff was known to have been stolen and stuff like that. Who would be the? See, I think if we had to pick one, it would have been Hawking. Hawking would have been the first one because, as I said, all this intelligence stuff. But then, as far as wear and tear and being able in that stuff, the DNA, the matches, and things weren't mixed right. So that's why you saw the deterioration and stuff. But as I said, Albert Einstein, I mean, you could throw him in there, but you know what? Actually, I would think that he wouldn't be, because he worked in the patent office, and a lot of the patents he probably did take from other people. So, oh no, I've got the circle of death, aliens. I know the aliens are going to kill us. Well, I was just saying that for example, Jason. But that maybe it'd be a 1.3. But the thing is, was he really as intelligent as what people thought that he was? The legends say that he is, but then again, is that something that was written to make us think that? By the aliens, who's also known, as some conspiracy people would say, is the New World Order. So there you go, Jimmy. There's how the Freemasons will decide to order the version, or got in there, is the fact that New World Order is part of the Masonic, guard, whatever, because the numbers, things like that. I can't get too much into that because this, but and then Steph, no, I don't watch Ancient Aliens. I cannot stand the guy with the crazy fucking hair, the George Papadopoulos, or whatever his name was. That was a sports writer, and all of a sudden became an alien guy because he put his hair up in a crazy, freaking, wiggish looking type thing. But I'm just saying, that's the way it could be. Do I believe it? You know what? Actually, the whole entire thing is just kind of popped out, pulled it right out of my ass. The whole entire thing, yeah. And I'm watching you too, Jimmy, because of the fact that it's so odd that we have this the Saharan dust storm that's coming. It's going to be coming across, but it is true that if it does mix in the Gulf of Mexico, that there would be some gases and stuff that would be damaging. But it's just a weird coincidence, as I said, that things came in threes, and like celebrity deaths. And this year we've had 3 issues and that stuff about breathing. Very weird. It's very odd. I don't know. There's just one of the thoughts that's going through the psyche. You know what? This could be possible, but you know what? It's not possible. I don't think it's possible at all. Is there aliens? Yes, there's aliens. Because once again, there just is. We're not the only things out here. What kind of arrogant people would we be if we think that that we are the only thing out in the universe? One thing I want to know, and I know it's off topic, how did you get into radio? What drove you to it? Well, Jason, pussy. That is the correct answer right there. It is true that when I was in high school, I was, I still am, a geek, nerd, stuff like that, dateless, all that kind of stuff, So, went to college, and it was kind of the same way college and stuff, because it's just one of those, I don't know, it is just one of those, I kept a lot of stuff to myself. I was, I was just there, and it's like one of those, and all of a sudden it's like you find out, oh my God, I would have dated you if you just would have asked. But, that you find that out. So, but anyway, so I wound up deciding, so I wanted to play, at that time, I wanted to play pro soccer when the Kansas City Wizards was still here. But I went to college and did that. I wanted to play professional and then get into sports broadcasting. And the way what I heard was that you had to either work at a college station or intern for a station to get in, to get into media. So I wound up interning. I was getting newspaper credit, and I never did anything for the newspaper. But now what's weird is my internship originally, over 24 years ago, was supposed to be with Q104, and that's when they were country. And then the day before my first day of internship, I get a call from the person whose intern is supposed to be, Rusty Walker was supposed to be her intern. I get a call saying that there's changes being made up there, that the internship is off. So I'm like, son of a bitch. I had to turn around and find somewhere to get an internship, because I didn't want to be on the newspaper staff, and I already had this whole thing set up. So I turned around. I wound up somehow. I got on. I begged the promotions director at the time. Her name was Michelle. I begged her, saying that I had an internship up there. I really needed. They weren't taking. Durant wasn't taking any more interns. They already had a couple, but they'd gone ahead and she's like, fine. Well, they made room for me and just added me on there, because it's like, well, it's free work anyway. It's completing my 3rd master's degree. I bought myself. Boom, radio, it's science. That is true, Jimmy. Now, here's where we're getting to that part of the story. So I'm doing my intern stuff, setting up things for remotes, all that kind of stuff. And then I wind up doing some stuff on the morning show, Johnny and Murphy. They would, some of those back in the day when we threw stuff out on the city, and that kind of stuff. And it turned around. Yeah, and it is true. Internships don't work for people who want to be in radio anymore, because you know why? Radio is a dead media. Okay, it's going the way of the newspaper. Sorry, satellite radio was satellite radio was supposed to originally, but anyway. So enough of that. So I wound up doing that. Here I am. I'm 20 years old. I'm also getting into Westport, getting to the Lone Star. Not and so it's like, it was just one of those. I started being recognized in that stuff, and you know, it just became one of those. It's like, oh my god, you know, especially since I was 20. These older women are always like, oh my god, you're so cute, so young, and it's like that was the end every time. So, and I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world, and I kind of gave up on my original dreams and wound up in radio. And was like, years later, be like, son of a bitch, didn't really have to go that way, did it? And then Stephanie, why? See, here's why. You, I wouldn't have become, you know, why did you become a gynecologist? Well, because you ever go to a gynecologist because it's healthy? Nah, that would be the big no, that'd ruin it. I mean, he was 3 credits short. Let's see what else we got here. Later show, morning, huge fan, and I hope you go. I'll go for another 25 years. Oh my god, I'm too old to go for another 20. I don't think I'll live another 25 years actually, especially if the aliens have anything to do with it, because they're trying to kill us off. Were you not listening earlier? People are going, when something's wrong, he wants the good stuff. Damn right, Daniel. What do you not, when you go out to eat, do you say, you know, you want the best food, not what's been in the garbage can? I mean, come on. Yes, of course you want the best, because you know, because well, Steph, let's see, LO, okay, then a rock star. Well, I sing like an amputee. I cannot carry a note and can't hold a tune. But I did play instruments. This is kind of the weird thing too. If you really want to think about going back to the whole, you know, the vagina obsession, I guess you'd say. And the first instrument I played was the flute. Sounds weird. Elementary school, 5th grade, band, played the flute. Why did I play the flute? Because everybody else in there were females. They were all girls. So I was like, I'm going to go and play. I'll be around them. Really didn't do anything. Didn't really do anything. So then the other instrument, I did learn how to play guitar. I did that in summer school. I was one of the few people going to summer school to do something for fun, not because I had to. I got to where I could play the beginning of Elvis's Love Me Tender pretty damn good. And then summer school's over, and that was done. Then picked the guiar up again. And matter of fact, hell, I don't even have the guitar anymore. I had it for quite some time, and then, but then turned around, and when I was in college, one of the guys from England, he wanted to learn how to play guitar, and then so I was like, I let him borrow it. Son of a bitch! He takes the thing, and he carries it around the campus all the time. You know, this English guy with the acoustic guitar, never fucking played it. Yeah, and then he left the country, and I was like, shit, he took my guitar. Frickin' British bastard. So, that is a whole other story into itself. Confederate Dan is getting on. I don't know what that means, Jimmy. You lost me on Confederate Dan. Who's Confederate Dan? I don't. But by the way, I want to let everyone know, it's like, hey, you know, whether you like this or not, go ahead and subscribe. All right? Because here's the thing: the more the higher the subscriptions, the crazier stuff we get. So, I mean, he is a very important Missouri Kansas Cityan. It is a nickname since he was a Jayhawker. Well, I don't follow college basketball, so I don't really care. back to the point. The point is, people, wear the masks, help each other out. Do it for your safety. Do it for others' safety. Just do it to be considerate. What do you think about moving the Jackson statue? Ooh, good topic. Here's the thing. I'm just going to say this, and this is the one thing. And by the way, I'm going to say that I'm going to be right on this because I'm the one saying it, and this is my channel. So, all the Confederate statues. All right. Originally, of course, they were erected after the Civil War when the slaves were freed as a reminder to the slaves that as an intimidation factor. Okay. So now we take them down. We put them in museums. I know you can't erase history, but we're not erasing history, Steph. What we're going to do is say we're going to put them in museums. We're going to let them ones that like generally whatever they can have a monument, a statue in the town that they were born in. So you got that. You got the museum. Okay. Also in the museum, we're going to put the Confederate flag. There's no reason for it. People who call them, they wave the Confederate flag along with the American flag are idiots because the Confederate flag was the base of it. They were traitors. The people in the Confederacy, they were traitors to the United States of America, and they made their own constitution, their own flag, and of course, the flag, it had its own meaning. The red was the blood of Christ. You had the 13 stars, which were the 13 original states that left the Union. Then you have the cross and oh God, I think the blue cross, and then the white for it was there's something, but it was the whole religious reason, stuff like that. So they start their own flag. It just got adopted, kind of like the whole swastika thing was a symbol. It still is a symbol in some religions, but it got hijacked, it got taken over, and people forgot what it meant. But the thing is, the Confederate flag is not a flag. This is for a country that doesn't exist. It's for one that tried to overthrow. They made terrorist attacks on the United States, on the North, and they lost. So, but where would the funding come from museums? You know what, Jimmy? We've got empty buildings. Let's just put them in an empty building. Why not? And then we market museum, and we have people come in to learn. I don't know. We got to do something with the empty buildings. Why not put them in there? That's it. You do it in the towns because the people in the cities are going to be leaving. So there's going to be empty buildings there because they're going to go out to the country and they're going to start new lives in villages of their own. But, and even that, you know what? Here's the thing is, you don't need funding. So by your statement, then each state should use the American flag and drop the state. See, now a state flag is different than the American flag, if you think about it, because the American flag represents the whole entire country. Now, the Confederate flag represented only the South, which is not there anymore. Well, I mean, it's there, but it's not there as its own sovereign nation. It's there as, part of our, it was a state flag. Well, Jimmy, the Confederate flag was used to represent also the whole thing. It became state flags in a lot of them. So, and Dan, yes, okay, that happened because when the South was taught that they were wrong, and we in the North graciously let them come back to be part of our country, we said, hey, you fought a good fight. But and so they got their they got part of their retirement pay and that stuff. But you see, the thing is, the Confederate flag was representing the whole entire South. Now, the Confederate States, they took in part of the Confederate flag to turn around and to show that they were secede. One of the states that seceded. Now, there's really no reason for that. And Jimmy, and yes, it wasn't just what I just said. If you're listening, but you're too busy typing and probably freaking knowing you fingering your own butthole to listen to what I said. But that's okay, as long as it's your own. But as I said, though, I mean that's the whole thing. Now, if you really want to look at, who the real hero was in it, Abraham Lincoln, because he was slaying all the vampires of Southern soldiers. Great movie. I don't care if some people liked it, some people didn't. I like to sit there and think that is part of the real history of Abraham Lincoln, that he was a vampire slayer. It makes it more fun. So, what did we learn tonight? Really, not a lot. Except for the year 2020, breathing is the theme. COVID, police chokeholds, and now this, I just like to say, Saharan dust storm. I don't know, because it's just one of those, even though the Saharan dust storms are normal. They've happened for all the time. It's just this one, all of a sudden now, it's because of global issues. Then the moving of the polar, the polar, the poles, magnetic poles, up to the top and the bottom. Call it the way that the Earth is shifting. It's now that, along with the depletion of the ozone layer, the heat from the sun, and stuff getting through more, is carrying more and more of the dirt across, and it's you think it's like, man, we thought to hurt more hurricanes and the volcanoes and stuff like that. That was going to be the bad stuff. Typhoons, now we're being dusted out by different parts of different areas of the continent, or the whole world is trying to go around. Things come in threes. Freemasons rule the world. T needs to pick a topic for the next show and promote it on Facebook. You know what? Actually, I have already got a topic picked out that, give me 1 second here. I've been wanting to do, and we're going to do it. Why? Because ever since I found out about this, it was just one of the things I was like, I've got to see this for myself. This sounds like the most interesting thing ever. And that is I got a guess? Anybody? No guess? No guess? So why does George and Abraham deserve a monument, but Jackson Lee don't? All were U.S. military. Lee already has a car named after him. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying you put him in a museum, you dumbass Dan. You don't freaking pay attention. Anyway, the next topic is the Davis Memorial. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Davis Memorial, but there's a very interesting story behind it. I mean, it's insane. Its memorial was built out of spite and hatred, and not for other people, but inside their own family. There's so much hatred that one of the people, they built this memorial draining the finances, and it's just this crazy, insane memorial, and it's up in Hiawatha, Kansas. So that is going to be the next one, and calling people dumbasses is a good way to build your followers. Well, Dan, you are a dumbass. I've known you for quite some time, and even, you know what? You ask Jimmy, he'll say, Dan, you're a dumbass. You ask Milton, who was on live last week, he'll say, Dan, you're a dumbass. Dan, you're a dumbass. And you like it when you're being called that. So I know, because I know you're one of those weirdos like that there. Yes, even Michael says, Dan, you're a dumbass. Now, so that is what's going to be next. Next week will be the Davis Memorial, and because it is the craziest story. When I read that, it was just insane. I mean, it was just like every family movie where the family has inner fightings and stuff like that. It's like come to life. Of course, be sure whether you like this or not, just go ahead and subscribe. Let's just go and build those numbers up and subscribe. I don't know why am I not seeing all the comments? I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know. You lost me on that one. But of course, you can look at other videos like when we that they're posted right now of places we've seen. Of course, we saw the atomic cannon. We saw what did we see? We went to the gun, the Beaker Gun Bible, the Gun and Bible Church. God, I mean, we just been hell. We even learned the history lesson about the man who was only president for one day. Of course, he was. You could say that he had the only presidency, only one that you could say kept everything honest and had no scandals. Which, because see, he was only for one day. But no, nobody. It was in Plattsburgh, Missouri. It was David Rice Atchison. That video was posted, and you can see the monument and the whole story of the whole the whole the guy and stuff, and it's just very interesting. So let's see, why are we renaming everything? Enough is enough. So if your last name is Lincoln, should you have to change it to appease people? Well, Jesus did change his name. That's why he only Jesus H. Christ. I think we all know what the H stood for. Okay, well, on that note, you know what? It has been a fun time. So next week, that's it. We will continue. I'm going to get some freshly cooked chicken and rub icy hot all over my sensitive spots. And that is, yeah, I can't really say that was fucking chicken fucking videos hilarious. Oh, fuck. Hey, it's Michael every Friday, 7 p.m. Tell your friends. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Tea Time with T-Bone. Whether they like it or not, just subscribe. Hell, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, that's it. We're gonna have some weird educational type videos going on, and also I think it's on there now. I posted from last year San Diego Comic-Con with the Stern pinball display that they had. That the guy their creative guy who makes the games and stuff gave a tour and stuff. Videoed it. And, yeah, there's gonna be all kinds of interesting stuff like that on there. So, everybody have a great night, and I'll see y'all next week, and we'll talk about family hatred. Next week's topic is how T often wears women's clothing and why it is okay. Because it's 2020, Jimmy, and you can wear whatever you want. You can dress up. You can be the pretty princess you want to be. See, the thing is, I don't wear women's clothing because I'm an ugly drag queen. It's true. We tried it once on the show. I am not an attractive drag queen whatsoever. No, I'd be the obvious one, but that's which is weird. Because I'll tell you one thing, there are some people that can pull off that, and you would never know. My God, there are some I don't even know what you call them now, but transvestites, whatever, that look better than real women, more passable, and they still got a penis. So this is just a really weird world that we're all living in. And yeah, that's about all there is to be said about that. Well, next Friday, today's therapy session for T by YouTube. YouTube, the place to go to find answers to world problems. Yes, and I solved some of them. Okay, if you don't think so, Jimmy, you were not paying attention. Because let me tell you, you have more problems, and you need to pay attention more. See, now we're just into the rambling. This is what you do to me. You make me ramble for no reason. We had facts. Remember, finger in the butthole, in the bath hole, the butthole, Jimmy, the butthole. Finger in the butthole. The truth is out there, and the truth is, you just don't want to know what the truth is. It'll make you weep. It'll make you sad. Well, a good night.